Hi guys, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you might know that I bought a couple of GoPro Hero 7 Black Edition. Up until then, I'd always used cheap action cameras, but I saw a couple of these cheap in CEX, Computer Exchange. Only they like to call themselves CEX, so you will say sex. Anyway, so I bought a couple of them, and I'm extremely happy with them, mainly for the image stabilization. That's what I wanted. Image stabilization and filming in 4K. I also have a 3D printer, so I get rather carried away with printing bespoke camera holders like this one. This one just slides in. I like that. This particular one I have just printed because in the car I have a tripod that needs that particular plate to go in the top of it to screw your camera to, although as you can see here I've 3D printed the GoPro bit straight onto the top of it, so that fits straight on my car tripod, as in the tripod that I keep in the car. Just so it's multi-purpose, I've added a screw fitting on the bottom, so it will go on other tripods if I need it to. And then the other thing I've done with this particular one is I've put that hole straight up the back there. I'll just put it down for a second, because one of the other camera mounts that I use is this thing. It's a fishing pole. Should be 11 meters long. It's not. I bought it cheap in a second-hand shop, and a couple of the sections are broken. It still gives me, I think, about 10 meters, but it's not the full 11 meters. Anyway, yeah, I had to 3D print that adapter to go from the one that's missing to that one. Actually, that's not the adapter. The adapter's in there. That is just so that I can push it down to get it, release it. Anyway, so up at this end, this simply goes on there, and that's it. That is my 11 meter high camera mount. You can either just hold it, stand there holding it, or you could strap it to something. Because we've got excellent image stabilization, the fact that it does wobble around a bit is accounted for by the image stabilization. I'm quite pleased with that one. So when I was deciding to 3D print another one of these brackets, I made sure I included that feature. So this one is multi-purpose. It'll fit my tripod that's in the car. It'll fit other tripods with the standard, is it 1/4 inch thread? I can't remember what thread it is. And it will also fit on the top of this one. It's a tight fit, as I say, I have to be careful. On the other hand, we don't want it falling off when it's at the top of the pole. So yeah, there we go. Also, on the same subject of 3D printing, if you've watched some of my recent videos, I've been moaning about the filament that I bought. I bought some really cheap filament, so it's my fault. You get what you pay for, and it's awful. It was so bad on this one that I've actually coated it with super glue to fill the gaps. You can probably see, well, you would be able to see if I haven't got the spotlight on. There's the layer lines, they're terrible. Let's just take the light off. Might be able to see them a bit clearer there, yeah. So I've coated it in super glue to fill the gaps and hopefully make them all join together. And then I've spray painted it yellow just to make it easier for me to spot the camera on top of the pole, so you can tell which way it's pointing. So yeah, I just thought I would show that. It's it works. When I first got the GoPros, the first one I got, it got a silicone case on it. So initially I printed a lot of these brackets, mounts, whatever you want to call them, with a gap on them to allow for the silicone case. But then when I bought the second one and it didn't have the silicone case, I decided to print them all so they would work without the silicone case. So I've actually got a double lot of these, some with silicone cases and some without. The one thing I hate about these GoPros is they quite often seem to overheat in the hot weather and shut down. Had that happen to me a few times. I thought I was filming and they just shut down. And I seem to remember reading about that, some people complaining about them overheating and shutting down. Other than that, image stabilization is the thing that sells it to me. They are excellent for my purposes anyway. I'm sure people will tell you there's better ones. There's always better. But these were second-hand. When they first came out, I looked at them and I thought, no way I could afford them. But when I saw them cheap second-hand, I think probably 120 quid I paid for them, which is still 4 times what I would pay for a cheap action camera, which does everything else for me except good image stabilization. Yeah. Love them and hate them at the same time. Just noticed, still got the original label on it, £10. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment so I know how I'm doing. And somewhere up here there'll be some links to related playlists. Thanks again.